All right, y'all. Peace and blessings. God bless y'all. I'm Jarvis Kingston, and I hope y'all doing all right in these challenging times. Now, today I want to discuss about the Antichrist. The Antichrist spirit, and how the Antichrist is going to oppose the Most High. Christ is also going to oppose the church as well, us as a people. In these end times, in these last days, you're starting to see more evil arise more than ever. You're starting to see more wickedness be exalted in a very crazy light through the media, through pop culture, through music, through all types of different outlets, especially media outlets, and you're starting to see how the attack on believers is much more harsh than ever. The attack on the church is more intense than ever. Most believers out there, all believers, are going through this persecution phase, this attacked phase. It's like we're really getting attacked very hard in different ways nowadays, especially mentally and verbally, physically, you could probably say so as well, because in other countries, other random parts of the world, they're literally burning down churches and killing off believers. And you're not really seeing too much of that in America. As of now, with America, the way they kind of go at believers is just verbally through social media, or believers can also be attacked maybe in the work environment, at the workplace, or you see certain people lose their jobs over their faith. You see people losing career opportunities in their belief and faith in Christ as well. And what it really is that the Antichrist spirit is working through a whole lot of people. It's working through the corporate world. It's working through these work environments, these schools, all these different venues, because you got to remember, in the 1960s, the public school system, they took away prayer. In the school system, they took away Bibles. So the Antichrist spirit been really running rapid since the 60s, to be honest. Nothing new is under the sun. And in these last days, if you're a believer, man, we have to really endure through all these things. We have to endure through all this wickedness. We have to endure through all these things that's opposing us every day, Jesus did prophesize about believers being persecuted and how we're going to be attacked and going through tribulation and all types of different events due to the fact that we're into the faith and we belong to the Most High. So I just want to read some scriptures about the Antichrist and just go from there. All right. The book of 1 John chapter 2, verse 22. Who is the liar but the one who denies that Jesus is the Christ? This is the Antichrist, the one who denies the Father and the Son. The book of 1 John chapter 4, verse 3. And every spirit that does not confess Jesus is not from God. This is the spirit of the Antichrist, of which you have heard that it is coming, and now it is already in the world. The book of 1 John chapter 2, verse 18. Children, it is the last hour, and just as you heard the Antichrist is coming, even now many Antichrists have appeared. From this we know that it is the last hour. The book of 2 John chapter 1, verse 7. For many deceivers have gone out into the world, those who do not acknowledge Jesus Christ as coming in the flesh. This is the deceiver and the Antichrist. The book of Daniel chapter 7, verse 8. While I was contemplating the horns, behold, another horn, a little one, came up among them, and 3 of the first horns were pulled out by the roots before it. And behold, this horn possessed eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth uttering great boasts. The book of Matthew chapter 24, verse 24. For false Christs and false prophets will arise, and will show great signs and wonders, so as to mislead, if possible, even the elect. The book of Mark chapter 13, verse 22. For false Christs and false prophets will arise, and will show signs and wonders, in order to lead astray, if possible, the elect. The book of Mark chapter 3, verse 29. But whoever blasphemes against the Holy Spirit never has forgiveness, but is guilty of an eternal sin. The book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3 through 4. Let no one in any way deceive you, for it will not come unless the autopsy comes first, and the man of lawlessness is revealed, the son of destruction, who opposes and exalts himself above every so-called God or object of worship, so that he takes his seat in the temple of God, displaying himself as being God. The book of Daniel chapter 7, verse 7 through 8. After this I kept looking in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrifying and extremely strong, and it had a large iron teeth. It devoured and crushed and trampled down the remainder with its feet, and it was different from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. While I was contemplating the horns, behold, another horn, a little one, came up among them, and 3 of the first horns were pulled out by the roots before it, and behold, this horn possessed eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth uttering great boasts. The book of Daniel, chapter 8, verse 9 through 12. Out of one of them came forth a rather small horn, which grew exceedingly toward the south, toward the east, toward the beautiful land. It grew up to the host of heaven, and caused some of the hosts and some of the stars to fall to the earth, and it trampled them down. It even magnified itself to be equal with the commander of the host, and it removed a regular sacrifice from him, and the place of his sanctuary was thrown down. And on account of transgression, the host will be given over to the horn along with the regular sacrifice, and it will fling truth to the ground and perform its will and prosper. The book of Daniel, chapter 11, verse 36 through 45. Okay. Then the king will do as he pleases, and he will exalt and magnify himself above every god, and will speak monstrous things against the God of gods, and he will prosper until the indignation is finished, for that which is decreed will be done. He will show no regard for the gods of his father, or for the desire of women, nor will he show regard for any other god, for he will magnify himself above them all. But instead he will honor a god of fortresses, a god whom his father did not know. He will honor him with gold, silver, costly stones, and treasures. He will take action against the strongest of fortresses with the help of a foreign god. He will give great honor to those who acknowledge him, and will cause them to rule over the many, and will parcel out land for a price. At the end time, the king of the south will collide with him, and the king of the north will storm against him with chariots, with horsemen, and with many ships. And he will enter countries, overflow them, and pass through. He will also enter the beautiful land, and many countries will fall, but these will be rescued out of his hand: Edom, Moab, and the foremost sons of Ammon. Then he will stretch out his hand against other countries, and the land of Egypt will not escape, because he will gain control over the hidden treasures of gold and silver, and over all the precious things of Egypt. And Libyans and Ethiopians will follow at his heels. But rumors from the east and from the north will disturb him, and he will go forth with great wrath to destroy and annihilate many. He will pitch the tents of his royal pavilion between the seas and the beautiful holy mountain. Yet he will come to this end, and no one will help him. The book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 1 through 10. And the dragon stood on the sand of the seashore. Then I saw a beast coming up out of the sea, having 10 horns, 7 heads, and on his horns were 10 diadems, and on his heads were blasphemous names. And the beast which I saw was like a leopard, and his feet were like those of a bear, and his mouth like the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his throne and great authority. I saw one of his heads as if it had been slain, and his fatal wound was healed, and the whole earth was amazed and followed after the beast. They worshipped the dragon because he gave authority to the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, "Who is like the beast, and who is able to wage war with him?" There was given to him a mouth speaking arrogant words and blasphemies, and authority to act. For 42 months was given to him, and he opened his mouth and blasphemies against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, that it is those who dwell in heaven. It was also given to him to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and the authority over every other tribe and people and tongue and nation was given to him. All who dwell on earth will worship him, everyone whose name has not been written on the foundation of the world in the book of the life of the book of life of the Lamb who has been slain. If anyone has an ear, let him hear. If anyone is destined for captivity, to captivity he goes. If anyone kills with the sword he must be killed. Here is the perseverance and the faith of the saints. The book of Second Thessalonians, chapter 2, verse 6 through 10. And you know what restrains him now, so that in this time he will be revealed. For the mystery of lawlessness is already at work. Only he who now restrains will do so until he is taken out of the way. Then that lawless one will be revealed, from whom the Lord will slay with his breath of his mouth and bring to an end by the appearance of his coming. That is the one whose coming in accord with the activity of Satan, with all power and signs and false wonders, and with all deception of wickedness, those for those who perish, because they did not receive the love of the truth, so as to be saved. The book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 8. Then that lawless one will be revealed, whom the Lord will slay with the breath of his mouth, and bring to an end by the appearance of his coming. The book of Daniel chapter 7 verse 26 through 27. But the court will sit for judgment, and his dominion will be taken away, annihilated, and destroyed forever. Then the sovereignty, the dominion, and the greatness of all the kingdoms under the whole heaven will be given to one people, to the people of the saints of the highest one. His kingdom will be everlasting kingdom, and all the dominions will serve and obey him. The book of Daniel chapter 8 verse 25. And through his shrewdness he will cause deceit to succeed by his influence, and he will magnify himself in his heart, and he will destroy many while they are at ease. He will even oppose the prince of princes, but he will be broken without human agency. The book of Daniel chapter 11 verse 45. He will pitch the tents of his royal pavilion between the seas and the beautiful holy mountain. Yet he will come to his end, and no one will help him. The book of Revelation chapter 17 verse 7 through 14. And the angel said to me, why do you wonder? I will tell you the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carries her, which has the 7 heads and the 10 horns. The beast you saw was and is about to come up out of the abyss and go to destruction. And those who dwell on the earth, whose name has not been written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, will wonder when they see the beast, that he was and is not and will come. Here is the mind which has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sits, and they are 7 kings. 5 have fallen, one is, and the other has not come yet. And when he comes, he must remain a little while. The beast which was and is not is himself as an eighth, and is one of the 7, and he goes to destruction. The 10 horns which you saw are 10 kings who have not received the kingdom, but they receive authority as kings with the beast for 1 hour. These have one purpose, and they give their power and authority to the beast. These will wage war against the Lamb, and the Lamb will overcome them, because he is the Lord of lords and the King of kings. And those who are with him are called chosen and faithful. So y'all know, man, in these end times, man, the Antichrist is rising up, and we have to stay strong in the Lord, and we have to stand up against all this evil and all this wickedness, and we have to stand strong and fight the good fight. Let us stay faithful to the Most High and be loyal to him and go all the way to the end for Christ. I pray that whoever listens to this message get baptized and start their lives over for Jesus, and, stay strong for the Lord. I'm Jarvis Kingston. I got much love for y'all. God bless y'all. Peace.